legacy of the manufacturing district here in the Guanas is something that we're all looking at. I represent a district that includes Red Hook and Sunset Park, and so we're all looking to Guanas as it changes and it transforms into its new chapter. And what we're all looking for is to make sure that we, in this new grid of zoning, that manufacturing becomes something that's alive and well, producing the jobs that we deserve here in the city, but also gives us an opportunity to look at ourselves in Red Hook and Sunset Park. So this is a case study that is just waiting for us to have some success. What is also very, very important for us as we think about the concerns here is the environmental cleanup, and that is also very alive and well in Sunset Park and Red Hook. So we are waiting, we're supporting, we're applauding all the work that the community is doing here in the Guanas, and I hope it spreads throughout the rest of Brooklyn.
Right now, we have all of these developers that's coming that's coming all around us, in the community, and then they have all this hike. The rent hike is up so high, and then, when they say rather low income, I'm thinking low income is like $750, $850, $900. The highest I can think of should be is like $1,000, because everybody don't have a 2-job person that's in their house. They got to have 3 and 4 people in order to pay the rent. And then you have to look around you. You have a diversity that's around in the community. And then most of all, I would hope that everybody will just come together as one, and then that way we can try to save our community. And knowing that the Key Food is down there getting ready to be closing, speaking of our Key Food, our beloved Key Food, there was so much things, petition, the meeting that was going on over there at PS 133, brother, regarding our Key Food, try to save try to save it. I mean, the Fifth Avenue Committee, brother, Miss Michelle, and Miss Sabine, and there's so many other people, including myself, brother. We all work pretty hard, and it was so much a devotion towards that. And then now they're working on the Gowanus Canal, but then once they start digging up that Gowanus Canal, it's gonna be like a lot of bad fumes gonna be going on. But then they saying though that it's for our own good, but it's still part of the community, as they say. But maybe we can work together as one family. Oh, I forgot to tell you. My name is Joanne Brown, and I am the Vice President of 572 and 574 Warren Street. And I also sit on the CAD, the Community Board 6, and also the Fifth Avenue Committee and the Ferry Board. So, I'm in the Ferry Committee, but I'm just all around girl, just trying to help out with the community. I'm all for my community. I'm for my kids. So, try to help out with the kids. Whatever I try to do is for my children and I always say my grandparents, not the elderly. They are my grandparents, okay? I thank you. Next question.
We need to make money to buy a better house and so I can get the bed I want. It has a slide and has a top and a bottom. And you mostly sleep on the top.
The most important thing in our community is to be able to create jobs for our youth. Like that, they don't have to engage in illegal activities to make a living. We have to provide them with a future that they have a vision, that if they work hard, they could get places and stay in this beautiful community that's developing as we're speaking. I think that with all the construction development in this area, there's opportunities, to teach these kids, to have training so they could be part of the construction part of it, and eventually become good at it. And if they're really good and they're real professionals and disciplined, from here they could go and work in other construction sites. So that's something that is doable. We just have to put ourselves to it.
The biggest challenge facing the community, that faces all communities, especially in Brooklyn, especially where I live in Sunset Park, is development. People say gentrification like it's an all-encompassing word, but like part of the process of gentrification the big part is development. So the city is beholden to development. It seems to me that Bloomberg was Robert Moses Light. He didn't build bridges and highways, but what he did was he made the city very pliable to development. If you look for the past since after Dinkins and Giuliani became mayor, it seemed like Giuliani was the one who cleaned up New York, right? For de Blasio to implement development, right? Bruce Ratner is a power capitalist, great relationships with City Hall, great relationship with de Blasio, with Bloomberg, and you see what happened downtown Brooklyn. And so it's development. It's the ULURP process, which is the usurp process, which is a process that actually takes power from the community boards that should decide what happens in their communities. And so that's the issue for me. We talk about gentrification. That word is such a buzzword. It's such a kind of overused word. We say it and like we know what it means, but there's so much that's kind of in that word, that there's so many textures and layers of what happens within that process. But I think it's development is the thing, because the city is beholden to development. So if a developer wants to come in and do something, he does it. You can't stop it. Industry City, Sunset Park, a beautiful, vibrant, colorful community is going to be destroyed because development.
We have such a great neighborhood. So, diverse and great schools, great parks. You can walk on the commercial streets. The biggest challenge is how will people be able to afford to stay, and how will we handle the balance between all the growth and development and change and make sure that comes with real opportunities, doesn't push people out, and gives us a neighborhood that continues to hold on to those values of diversity and equality and creativity and sustainability that have made it so good for so long.
Our community is, we deal with affordable housing crisis. A lot of those people in this community are mostly low income. So that what happen is you have all these shady lenders try to come here and then harassing all these tenants, but not to that, also harassing all the small businesses that they play in the community. So one thing is we talk about anti-harassment program to make sure that the low income and middle income people make sure we stay in the community and make sure all the mom and pop businesses, including immigrant owned and family owned, make sure stay here for generations to come. So I'm gonna make sure that everything we had to put in the same page. But to keep it an industrial business, all the mechanic shops, also bodegas, and of course, gas stations are completely at risk for being threat for displacement for another luxury development that they don't benefit the community and they benefit out-of-towners plus the 1%ers. And the other thing they mentioned about, because of to stop illegal things from happening, that community land trust is the right answer to make sure we get it straight, and we make sure we make the whole community accountable, and we're gonna make themselves clear from every type of any land use project. Make sure there has to be real affordable housing, because that may help the community better itself, and to preserve public housing. To make sure that NYCHA, they need to hurry up and fix the repairs in Whitehall, because it's getting way far too long for this type of neglect from happening. And there's been a problem that I've been facing all the tenants at Whitehall for months. And all this I've been through town hall, I've been through testimony with the NYCHA people. And we heard about a lot of raids that's been going on this year, because the New York, wherever the immigration custom or U.S. attorney we involved with crime problems that they play in the community. So we try to make sure we have to make sure that public house should be safe, secure, and mostly protected. The residents feel safe and secure for a long period of time. I'm Ann Goodrich, and I also, as a Brooklyn resident, but also an activist for Brooklyn Anti-Gentrification Network, also Occupy Wall Street and Occupy Evolve.
The most important thing in my neighborhood is affordable housing, also transportation, And also, I would like to see, more stores and mom and pop stores to stay in the neighborhood. That's a very important thing in the neighborhood.
Right now, NYCHA's 50-50 affordable plan, that's a strong issue in our community. And affordable markets for food, we have two strong issues. Affordable markets, supermarkets where we can buy food, healthy food. Those are the two strong issues, and NYCHA trying to destroy our community.
Right now, one of the most important issues is the next gen. And also, we're worried about the whole issue of gentrification. That's a big thing with us. We've been okay with next gen NYCHA. We're worried about our schools. You know what I'm saying? I have a grandson going to 133. I'm worried about our schools being overcrowded from all these people coming in the neighborhood, all these buildings, being built in this one little area, okay? Also, with next gen, what we're worried about is, okay, they want to do these 50-50 market rate apartments on both our parking lots, right? The thing with that is we want to make sure that where we live at, it's that the money is being utilized toward our apartments also, that we don't get just left out in the cold, with this next gen. Because we're already suffering right now. We have all these construction workers, all this building, all this, we gated in like a gated community, but it's worse because we have all these I can't explain it. We have all these right, like we're on the outside, we're in the inside, looking out. You know what I mean? So we're concerned. We're really concerned with what's going to happen to us. What's going to happen to us through the next generation? What's going to happen to the people already living in the community? What's going to happen to the schools? Are we going to benefit from any of these projects that's going on in our neighborhood? Are we going to be cast on the side because of everything that's going on? So that's mainly our concern. What's going on in our neighborhood? Because this is our neighborhood. Some of us been here 35 years, 50 years. It's not fair for us to just be shoved to the side and, just go on with a new project. I think most of the community is worried about what's going to happen to them. What's going to happen? Is this next gen, is it going to be a failure? Is it going to be a bust? We don't know because and that's mainly what we're concerned with.
It's affordable housing and more protection for the landlords in different areas, not only in Sunset Park, in Gowanus, in Parslow. I see a lot of people getting evicted from their houses because there's not enough protection for the tenants. Even if they rent stabilized or rent control tenants, they need more protections to stay in the community. We need that, especially right now with the rezoning. We need those protections to keep the tenants in. They don't get that much harassment from the landlords.
I think the biggest problem we're facing in our community is low-income housing. Why? Because it's just high. It's just the prices are too high and people can't really afford it.
I think right now transportation, because I take the train a lot and there's always delays and issues with the R train. So I would say it's transportation. I remember when it wasn't much of anything because I've lived here all my life. So just to see it even, done up and changed the way it has in such a positive way, I'm just happy to see it change at all.
A problem in my community is gentrification and displacement of people that have been living there for a very long time. They've been harassed so that eventually they have to leave. You also have youth that grew up there that are college graduates that would like to come back into the community to live near their parents, and they can't get an apartment because the rent is so high they cannot afford it. In addition, you have supers that have been told not to rent to minorities, to hold the apartments for white people that can afford to move in.